everybody, I'm Esther.
I'm Nick.
And we are the YouTube channel Fouch-o-matic Off Grid.
That's right.
No cinematography today. We're just going to sit and catch up, let you know what we've been up to and what we're working on, what we're looking forward to, and also specifically the system of holistic management and why we've chosen to adopt holistic management for our homestead, how that's related to and a little bit different from permaculture, and why that's going to work for us. Here's a little snack. We'll give you some greens to snack on. So let me set the stage for this. So we are 4 years in to our off-grid homesteading adventure. We are working towards self-sufficiency. We have just 3 acres. Our 3 acres is not farmland.
No, it's not.
It's not at all farmland.
Not at all. Can I give a little pretext to that? We're 4 years into homesteading. Prior to that, we had that much experience homesteading. So we came out here cold, essentially.
Right. So we've had 4 years of experience, and we've had a lot of success in terms of meeting lifestyle goals. We've had a lot of success in terms of this is what our family feels like. We spend time in nature. We have a sense of adventure and independence every day. We're living in a beautiful environment. Our family is spending a lot of time together. And so these things really are our short-term goals. We met, we sort of climbed to the top of a first mountain this winter, which I hope some of you were able to enjoy with us. It was really a wonderful experience for us to accomplish almost simultaneously 2 major personal goals.
Absolutely. For me, I wanted to move to the mountains and build a house. And so while it's not done at all, we moved in, and it kept us warm and safe all winter long. It's provided us a lot more comfort than what we came out here with, which was a 20-foot yurt. So it's a big step up for us, and it does feel kind of like a milestone of sorts.
And almost simultaneous with that, I published a book, which as a writer, getting my first book published in traditional publishing and on bookstore shelves was a really big deal for me. So this December, we had this sense of kind of graduation and celebration and feeling really like we had done a lot and worked really hard for those goals. As if you've been following us on the YouTube channel, you definitely have seen us working hard for those goals. And then we had this feeling in the the late winter and early spring, like that we had just graduated, not at all from the university, but from kindergarten. We had this great graduation, and then we kind of looked out at the rest of the world and we're like, oh boy, we're still really close to the beginning as far as our long-term goals.
Absolutely, and especially with having attended the Permaculture Design course, we just are now starting to learn kind of how big the issues are at play here. Not only like why we're out here, but all of the how-tos.
So if I can tell another story to give you an idea of the transition that we're making. I've been gardening on this land, which is not farmland, now for 4 summers. I guess this is my 4th summer because I skipped one. So this is my 4th time gardening on this land. And I do have some successes happening. I've had lovely gardens. I would say that at this point, I'm at the point where my garden is as nice as anybody else's in the area. Not that I'm competitive about that or anything, but my garden is as nice as anybody else that I have as a neighbor to kind of compare to. And it's not meeting our needs as far as self-sufficiency goes. So I needed to be able to step it up a notch, to be able to figure out how to do more, even though I'm on a mountainside and there's elk here and everything needs to be fenced and I can't really do rows and et cetera, et cetera. I needed to figure out how to step that up a notch. And thinking about how to do that has caused us to need to think from a wider perspective, a little bit more of a bird's eye view of all the systems in play. And that sent us to permaculture and to a permaculture design course, which then sort of kicked us back around to having to say, well, whatever we want to accomplish is really going to be based on what specifically we're trying to accomplish. It's not, you can't just take on somebody else's plan or situation and be doing permaculture or necessarily to be meeting our goals.
Right. You certainly can't go and implement somebody else's solutions from their situation into yours, but you also are probably not going to have the same reasons why. So you have to have your goals for your situation, which come from you.
So that brings us, I think, to explaining what this is, holistic management. Do you want to start?
Take it away.
Okay, Alan Savory is the author here of a book called Holistic Management. When we were at our permaculture design course, I think we mentioned Alan Savory at one point, referencing his TED Talk, which I can link for you. He's known for using animals to restore grasslands, particularly in Africa, the ability to recreate herd conditions as there would have been before humans kind of took over the landscape. There would have been massive herds of hoofed animals moving together in a way that affects the land differently from how we might move animals a few at a time in a condition that he calls partial rest. So he's been able to do really great work restoring grasslands and preventing desertification, the transformation of the land into desert, by moving animals. So that's the person, Alan Savory. But this book, Holistic Management, is about a framework for decision making, a method for decision making, and it's actually quite scientific. Maybe scientific isn't the word I'm looking for. Mechanical.
Absolutely. So at sort of your first time stepping through his testing process, it feels like you're nowhere involved there because it is so it's so mechanical. But all of the answers to your questions you already set out as your goals. So you're testing the question at hand against your own goals. So as long as you're able to kind of go through the process and be honest with yourself about what your goals are, then the answers that come out are going to get you closer to that goal.
So one of the reasons that we were interested in this system is that setting goals that are in line with our own values is already our strong point. It's already something that we've succeeded at and that we continue to succeed at. Anyone who watches our channel knows that for us, family is a major value, and the ability to spend time together is a value. And because of that, we are able to set goals around that, and we're able to accomplish that and then feel great. Even if the garden isn't producing even a quarter of the food that I want it to produce, we still have a success around that major value. So we know it's true when he says, very early in his book, he says that humans tend to bias our decisions towards what we really want, right? We all know this.
That's pretty easy.
So what you need to do is to figure out what you really want and be intentional about how you're moving around that, because honestly, you're going to anyway. And almost as soon as I read that, I thought, okay, this is a system that's going to be in line with what we're already doing. The difference being that about half of this book is ecology. About half of this book is about natural systems, which is what we don't have. Right. So he moves pretty fluidly from you need to know what you want and you need to take steps to get it, to the realization that your real wealth is in the energy conversion of the land's ability to convert solar energy into a product, or your ability to use solar energy to convert to develop resources into something else. So this kind of this realization that your real wealth is in the natural world around you is not a foreign idea to us. It's kind of it's very much what brought us out here.
And that's really why it appeals to and comes up in a lot of permaculture circles, I think, is because permaculture is largely about sort of harnessing the power of these natural systems and designing ecosystems that take advantage of the things that are going to go on anyway. And so you have some symbiotic relationships, and you are able to limit your own inputs and limit addictive inputs in order to get the best outcome.
So let's hit that addictive inputs thing, because that's mostly what we're focusing on right now. Having just started this a few weeks ago, just having intentionally said we need to change our minds so that we can think about our homestead a little differently, so that we can get past our own limitations. Addictive inputs is kind of the first thing that we're working on.
Absolutely. So addictive inputs is just that. It's anything that you need to bring in, or anything that you need to do repeatedly in order for a system to survive. So, the real obvious ones are like the fossil fuels that we truck in here, propane and gas for the generators, but even right down to, having your garden irrigated with hoses. It's a thing that you have to go and do, or the system is going to go down. So designing in sort of self-sustaining systems that don't depend so heavily on you and your ability to, be hands-on and always manipulating in the moment.
Right, and we just tested this because we were gone for a month, right? We were gone from our homestead for a month. And it was interesting and humbling to see how the land responded to our being gone for a month. We had a garden that was being watered. So behind us is the tomato forest, right? If you can see our tall tomatoes, these were planted way back on Mother's Day, and they're already giving us green tomatoes that'll ripen up in the next few weeks. It's a beautiful, great tomato garden. But it was watered by Matthew, I think, every day while we were gone. He was really conscientious about it. There was another garden, though, down the hill that I didn't ask him to water and didn't necessarily expect to have much there when we got home. This one was really fun to come and see because I didn't plant anything, and also Matthew didn't water it. So this area has been completely untouched. And as you can see, it is completely lush with red lettuce. We found an entire area of very lush, very healthy lettuces. So we've actually already harvested several complete heads of red lettuce. And there's plenty that had been not irrigated, that had come up reseeded from the lettuce that was there before. Right. And that was a kind of a beautiful validation of some of this, the realization that, okay, I didn't water those. I hardly touched them.
Right. You had manipulated the circumstances last year. You had mulched heavily. You had worked to create some fertile ground. And not that you just let it go, but there was very little effort put into it this year for the harvest that we were able to take advantage of when we got back.
Right. So this is a concept that's very familiar to those interested in permaculture. The idea that I'm trying to get my manipulations kind of up higher, if you will, on a certain scale, to say, rather than having my labor be these addictive inputs that I'm going to come in every day and I'm going to do the same thing every day.
Or even that you come in every year and you seed it every year and then you tear it out every year and all of that. You're able to create a system that just kind of rolls over. It needs you less and less and less.
So we feel kind of grown up. Are we super boring now that we're growing up?
I still feel like we're in the first grade of
first grade
of permaculture and land management, but we're here. We're in it for the long haul, and by the time we pass this place on to our kids, we'll have something real going. And I'm patient. I can take the time to learn and do it right.
So there you go. There's our update. I hope that wasn't all the boring stuff, but if anyone is interested in holistic management, we'll put a link down. We'll put some links to Alan Savory's work below, and maybe I'll give you a quick tour around the garden so you can see my experiments.
It is kind of right in the middle of the summer, and I'm a little bit late for the building season, but we're going to get after it before too long here. Just trying to generate some funds to get that shop going. I did get drawings off to the engineer, so we're getting it all checked out. Make sure the structure is going to do everything I want it to do, and we'll have some building videos before too long here.
So thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you all have a lovely time. And there will be a couple more videos just looking back at our vacation just to share with you. But it's getting dark out here, so it's time for us to say goodnight.
Until next time.
See you next time.
Good night, little house.